From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And good afternoon. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by from home this midday with a check of your midweek forecast. Todd, as we're heading out for the lunch hour, what can people expect?
You know, it's pretty quiet out there right now, Lauren. It's not the brightest afternoon for us by any means, as there's quite a bit of cloud cover, but there's not much of anything in the way of rainfall, so it will be dry. If you do head out for lunch here this afternoon, as you can see from downtown to the north on the WRTV Weather Now camera network, the clouds are firmly in place in many locations, and while they look a little threatening, there's not much being produced as far as rainfall out there. Just a few sprinkles across parts of the area, and you can see any substantial rainfall is off to our west. Going forward now throughout the afternoon hours, it's not out of the question, though, that there could be a stray shower or two. You notice that batch of rain that's near Evansville. It's weakening as it moves off towards the north, but it may clip especially some of our southern counties with a few sprinkles here this afternoon or a quick passing shower, but it really shouldn't be anything more than that. So definitely don't plan on any rainfall here this afternoon. The clouds keeping the temperatures in the mid to upper 70s right now. We'll go up another couple degrees to right around 80 for your high temperature with the quiet but cloudy afternoon. Brighter days are ahead. I really think you're going to like the weekend forecast. More on that, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. A security guard who's now facing charges of murdering a woman at an apartment complex is set to be in court for the first time tomorrow. Melvin Hall is accused of shooting Natasia Williams 3 times when she was inside of her car last Friday outside some apartments near East 42nd and Brentwood. A witness says that Williams had a gun in her car but never pointed her weapon at Hall. The witness also says Hall never gave any warnings before firing his gun. The Marion County prosecutor says the statements from witnesses and an autopsy led his office to file the murder charge.
It's the autopsy evidence which told us how that body or how that bullet ultimately entered the victim's body and the path and trajectory that it took. That provided greater context, the witness statements that occurred, and really helped us zero in on what was the actual sequence of events.
Well, as of now, Hall's murder trial is scheduled for January of next year. New COVID-19 cases are up slightly again here in Indiana. The state health department reporting 871 new cases today, along with 13 additional deaths from the virus. That pushes Indiana's official COVID-19 death toll past 3,100. The positive test rate continues its slight climb as well. The 7-day average is now at 7.2%. The number of COVID-19 patients in the state's hospitals rose slightly, but it remains below 900. Hamilton Southeastern Schools not making any changes to its all virtual learning plan just yet, even though the health department there in Fisher says it's okay to do so. The Fisher's health department downgraded its COVID-19 community risk level from significant to moderate. Mayor Scott Fadness says that this opens up the opportunity for students to go back to in-person classes at schools. But administrators at Hamilton Southeastern say they aren't making any changes just yet. Right now, all students are virtual learning, and pre-K to 4th graders will switch to a hybrid learning system on September the 8th. This has all sparked protests from parents who want their kids back in school. The school board is scheduled to hold a special meeting at 6 o'clock tonight. We'll keep you updated. New this midday, school districts in Indiana will not lose state funding for going all virtual during this pandemic. Today, the State Board of Education voted to change the rules on funding for students who are learning online. It means the state will fully fund school districts that have most students either learning at home or if they're part of a hybrid learning model. Some state lawmakers had warned that under the current law, per student funding would drop to 85% for online students. That change could have cost districts like Indianapolis Public Schools almost $30 million in funding. So cleaning and disinfecting has become a top priority for school districts all across the country, and several schools right here in central Indiana, they've turned to the experts when it comes to creating that safe environment for their students. Stratus Building Solutions cleans more than 20 private and public schools across central Indiana. They use tools like an electrostatic sprayer, which puts out positively charged chemicals, helping them to evenly disperse those all across the surfaces, and so they stick. The company's owner says it's enhanced the services because of demands from schools and businesses.
Pre-COVID, we might disinfect touch points. So high touch points in your facilities are doorknobs, door handles, bathroom fixtures, desktops, things that you touch on a frequent basis. Those typically, in a normal clean plan, might have been a once a week cover process, they're daily today. And sometimes in some facilities, they're multiple times per day.
In addition to cleaning after students go home, Stratus keeps a crew inside the school buildings during the school day for repeated cleanings of those high touch point areas. Democracy 2020 now. A federal judge has blocked an Indiana law that purges many Hoosiers from the voter rolls, even if they didn't receive proper notification from the state. This lawsuit was filed by the advocacy group Common Cause Indiana. It targets Indiana's use of the multi-state program that compares names on the state's voter rolls with those in other states. Federal Judge Tanya Walton Pratt ruled that the state's use of the program can lead to voters being removed from the rolls without notice. She issued a permanent injunction barring local officials from removing voters without written confirmation from the voter. With 2 months to go before the general election, one organization is focused on creating a more diverse and inclusive voter turnout. They want every Hoosier to know that their vote matters. Count Us Indiana is a nonpartisan group that's working to make registering and voting easier for everyone. The group is based out of Fort Wayne. Every Tuesday from now until Election Day, they are partnering with the Indianapolis Public Library, hosting virtual forums where they'll discuss a wide range of topics related to voting.
If people need resources to get their ID, if you can't afford printing or getting your official paperwork, any pro bono legal services, please feel free to reach out to us.
Well, the group does not offer legal services, but they can help to make sure that you know how to vote. We have more information on this group on our website. Just go to WRTV.com. Well, they were laid to rest more than a century ago, but time forgot them since their graves were not marked. Well, now their service to our country will be remembered, and it's all thanks to the efforts of a historian and the Wayne Township Trustee's Office. Today, new headstones for the graves of soldiers Redden Johnson, James Strader, and Thomas Harry were dedicated at Mount Jackson Cemetery. They served in Indiana's 33rd Infantry during the Civil War. Their unmarked graves were discovered during research by Chris Walker, a history professor at Indiana Wesleyan University.
These markers are just one small way to make sure that their efforts and sacrifices remain in our hearts and minds.
Mount Jackson Cemetery is on Tibbs Avenue, just north of Washington Street. It was abandoned in the 1960s, and it's now managed by the Wayne Township Trustee's Office. Well, he was a fixture on TV commercials for decades here. Next, the passing of a man who built a business empire in the Midwest out of humble beginnings right here in central Indiana. Todd.
And Lauren, a stationary front sits just south of the state of Indiana, and it's along that front that we have the best opportunity not only today, but tomorrow for a quick passing shower or two. We're not expecting a lot in the way of rainfall heading our way, which is good news as we head into the Labor Day holiday weekend. We'll break that forecast down for you as well, coming up when the News at Noon continues right here on WRTV.
Short for a car dealer?
Wait a minute, I'm Bob Rohrman. I'm here to rescue you from high car prices.
Well, for decades, he was known throughout the Midwest for his campy car dealership commercials. Bob Rohrman grew up in Lafayette, and he started selling cars there in the 1950s. So he would go on to open 32 dealerships all across Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. But Bob Rohrman was best known for his TV commercials, always filled with humor, and ending with that animated line saying that there's only one Bob Rohrman. I'm butchering that, not doing that justice. But today, his auto group there announced that Bob Rohrman did die last night after a long illness. Bob was 87 years old. Well, she battled Joe Exotic on the Netflix hit Tiger King, and now the big cat rescuer Carol Baskin has her sights set on a mirror ball trophy. Today on Good Morning America, Baskin was revealed as part of the cast for the next season of Dancing with the Stars. She'll be joined by 11 other celebrities. They include Backstreet Boys member AJ McLean. He is the second member of the group to dance on the show. Also appearing this season is former Bachelor and Bachelorette star Caitlin Bristow, Olympic figure skater and commentator Johnny Weir, and Grammy recording artist Nelly. The new season of Dancing with the Stars premieres Monday, September 14th. It'll be right here on WRTV. I think that's going to be a good one. Well, it was the talk of Indianapolis 1 year ago. Next, we'll take a look inside the state of the Red Line. What's working? What isn't working? Plus, what's coming in the future? And let's take a look outside right now from our tower camera here pointing to the west. You can see the White River there and the zoo in the background. We'll have a look at Todd's forecast for the rest of the workday and look ahead to your holiday weekend. That's all coming up here on the News at Noon. Stay with us. Welcome back. It has now been 1 year since the Red Line started rolling through Indianapolis. The city's first bus rapid transit line saw huge ridership numbers in the first month, but public transportation in general has taken a big hit since the pandemic began. Our Cameron Riddle caught up with Indigo's president and CEO, who shared some of the lessons learned from the Red Line and the latest ridership numbers.
Indianapolis has grown and changed in its 200 years, but the Red Line kicked off the city's first mass transit overhaul in decades.
And if you look at our routes the way they were 40 years ago, Indigo hasn't changed, but the city has been constantly evolving, and that's why that redesign is so important, to be able to rematch the services to where the people are.
Adding a new transit system to an established city turns what seems like simple changes into headaches. Indigo president and CEO Inez Evans says in the first months of Red Line service, it became clear that the rubber medians meant to keep cars from crossing the Red Line's path would not work.
Oh my goodness. So the rubber mediums, I had started referring to them as the alligators in the road because they kept going on top of one another. So we replaced those with the concrete mediums, and those have been greeted so much better by the community.
In other places, traffic bollards meant to separate buses from general road traffic caused a bit of a headache too, as Red Line buses would literally get snagged on the traffic bollards, which were eventually removed. New infrastructure combined with new technology threw Indigo a curveball.
Caution, bus is turning. We took on new bus technology, the TVM machines where you get your fares, that was new. Signal preemption, that was new for us. All of these things laid on top. Nothing worked exactly as it was supposed to on day one, and some things we're still working through.
Evans has led transit agencies in a number of big American cities. She says Indigo has presented the most challenges, and none were bigger than opening a bus line months before a global pandemic. After its first month of service almost 1 year ago, ridership was at 246,369 passengers. That declined in the winter to 139,000 passengers in January. But before Indigo could figure out if that drop was because of cold weather, coronavirus struck. Red Line ridership dropped to 93,000 in March and 51,000 in May. But Evans is encouraged by a 21% increase in Red Line riders between June and July.
Ridership is coming back. It's not where it was on opening day, but we are seeing our system coming back, even with the COVID pandemic happening. And I will say that our transit numbers are ahead of the curve in the return of our ridership than other transit systems nationwide.
After surviving growing pains, Indigo is now looking ahead to the purple and blue lines after a year of feedback and lessons learned from the Red Line.
Pre-COVID, we had companies just calling us and saying, we love the Red Line, it's a great service. If you look at the landscape of what's already happening along Purple and along Blue Line, improvements to the community are already starting to show. That is a component of BRT being promised to come down those streets.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Cameron, thank you. The continued growth of Indigo is creating more job opportunities as well. Indigo is looking for bus operators, and the expansion of the Purple and Blue lines means that more electric buses will be out on the streets with an increased need for additional maintenance and engineering staff. You can find all of those job opportunities and many more by visiting our website, hiringhoosiers.com. Let's take a turn right now to our Wednesday forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect as we head out the door this midday. And Todd, as we can see from our cameras today, not the brightest Wednesday in the forecast, but what can we expect?
Yeah, you know, it's not a bad day. As you mentioned, there's definitely a lot of clouds out there, and we don't have a whole lot of sunshine in this forecast going forward, Lauren. But we also don't have a whole lot of rainfall. So if you want to get out and walk through the neighborhood or go for a bike ride, by all means do it. Will you have the potential of a stray sprinkle? Yeah, there's the possibility, but it's nothing that's going to hamper your workouts if you choose to do so here this afternoon. With the clouds, 75 degrees, a little bit of a breeze out there as well, making you feel a little bit cooler out of the west right now at 13 miles per hour, and temperatures within a couple degrees of each other in most locations, between 74 and 79 degrees here currently, where the clouds are a little thicker. That's where we're in the lower 70s, where the clouds are a little thinner and a little more in the way of sunshine peeking through. That's where temperatures are currently up near the 80-degree mark. But as far as rain chances go, it's only about a 10 to 20% chance of an isolated shower passing through as we work our way throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. Yesterday afternoon, the showers became a little more numerous as we went. That carried into the evening hours. Not the case today, and the reason is the stationary front has now dropped south of Indiana, and that's where the main storm track is going to be. And we're just left with the cloud cover that's currently out there. And the stationary front, it stretches all the way from New England just south of Indiana down into Texas, but most of the storms, as they start to make their way through the area, they're just going to ride right along this stationary front and eventually off towards the northeast. So that's where the heaviest of the rain is going to be over the course of the next few days. But with that front just along the Ohio River, it's not out of the question. There could be a quick passing shower. The best chance of seeing that will be in southern locations, again, a little closer to the front. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies and maybe a few peaks of sunshine, especially in northern locations, working in later on this afternoon. Our high today right around 80 degrees. Now, going forward in this forecast, tomorrow starts off a little cloudy, a little better chance tomorrow afternoon, though, of breaking into some sunshine. And as a result, temperatures tomorrow will be a little bit warmer. We're talking about the low 80s across the area. And what we'll wait for tomorrow is a front that's going to come through. And you saw it come through. Let me back it up for you here. It's just this broken line of showers and a little bit of cloud cover. It doesn't come through until after sunset in most locations, but that is a cold front. And once that front goes through, it is going to take our weather and turn it absolutely fabulous heading into your Friday and then into your holiday weekend. Friday morning, you wake to temperatures in the mid 50s, 77 with sunshine in the afternoon. Saturday, Sunday, back up into the low 80s with sunshine. And then we get to Labor Day, and there's the chance of a few spotty storms in the forecast, Lauren, on Labor Day itself, but they're probably pretty late in the day, it looks like right now. But then we do get into a pretty unsettled and much cooler weather pattern for the middle half of next week.
All right, looking forward to it, Todd. Thank you so much. Next, a star is born. We'll show you someone who's gone viral with the realistic impression of a queen. You'll want to stay tuned for that, plus one final check of your forecast. You're watching WRTV. Move over, Queen Bee. There's a new star who's an international sensation with a cover of one of Beyonce's best songs. The singer has gone viral, belting out one of Beyonce's 2008 hits, If I Were a Boy, without missing a note. Oh, by the way, the singer is a parrot.
If I was a boy, excuse me. If I was a boy, excuse me.
Well, Chico the parrot is the main attraction lately at the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park. This is out in the UK. The 9-year-old parrot doesn't do Beyonce either. The park says that Chico can belt out Poker Face by Lady Gaga, Katy Perry's Firework, and Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. So more talented than us, Todd. That's pretty funny.
You know you haven't made it as a singer when a parrot sings better than you, Lauren. You know, so that's pretty amazing. All right, outside we have lots of clouds. There could be a passing shower or two this afternoon. Nothing major. Tomorrow, same thing, a passing shower, 83 degrees. But then a great stretch of weather with lower humidity, slightly cooler temperatures, especially in the morning hours. That's the big difference over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday time span. And then Labor Day itself, 76 degrees with just a few spotty storms, Lauren.
All right, Todd. Thank you, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Come back and join us for the news at 5. Have a great day.